It's 1971, and America is caught between the chaos of Vietnam War headlines and the comfort of our living rooms. Bell-bottoms are swinging down Main Street, muscle cars are growling in driveways, and every evening, families across the nation are gathering around those big, beautiful wood-grain television sets with their warm, glowing CRT screens. No streaming services, no DVRs, no cable, just 3 networks and the shared ritual of primetime television. This was when watching TV wasn't just entertainment, it was a national event. When a show aired, everybody watched it together at the same time and talked about it the next day at work or school. Primetime wasn't just a schedule, it was appointment television that shaped an entire generation. So, let's take a trip back to 1971 and count down the top 10 shows that had America glued to their sets every single night. Number 10. The Mary Tyler Moore Show on CBS. Mary Richards tossed her hat into the Minneapolis sky and changed television forever. This wasn't just another sitcom about a working woman. This was revolutionary stuff for 1971. Mary was single, independent, and happy about it, working as an associate producer at a fictional TV news station alongside the lovably gruff Lou Grant and the hilariously incompetent Ted Baxter. What made Mary special was that she represented something new. A woman who wasn't desperately searching for a husband or apologizing for having career ambitions. She had real friendships, real problems, and real laughs without a laugh track telling you when to chuckle. Here's the shocking part most people don't know. CBS executives initially hated the pilot. They thought Mary was too perky and worried audiences wouldn't relate to a divorced woman. The creators had to completely rewrite her backstory, making her a woman who'd broken up with her boyfriend instead. Even then, network suits were nervous about a show centered on an unmarried 30-year-old woman. The episode everybody remembers? Chuckles Bites the Dust, where the station's kiddie show host dies in a bizarre elephant accident, and Mary can't stop giggling at his funeral. Number 9. Bonanza on NBC. After 13 years on the air, the Cartwright family was still riding strong in 1971, though the show was clearly past its prime. Ben Cartwright and his 3 sons, Adam, Hoss, and Little Joe, continued their adventures on the Ponderosa Ranch, but by this point, the formula was getting as worn as an old saddle. But here's what might surprise you. Pernell Roberts, who played eldest son Adam, had actually quit the show 3 years earlier in 1965 because he thought the scripts were becoming junk and the characters were one-dimensional. He wasn't wrong. By 1971, even die-hard fans were starting to notice the recycled storylines and predictable plots. The writing was literally on the wall, and NBC was already planning to pull the plug after the 1972-1973 season. The most memorable moment? That iconic opening sequence with the burning map and each Cartwright riding across the screen. Pure television magic that's still instantly recognizable today. Number 8. Medical Center on CBS. Dr. Joe Gannon and Dr. Paul Lochner were saving lives and breaking hearts at University Medical Center, and America couldn't get enough of these handsome docs in white coats. This medical drama had everything: life and death surgeries, complicated romances, and enough medical jargon to make viewers feel like they could perform their own appendectomies. But here's the controversial bit that shocked audiences. The show regularly tackled subjects that other programs wouldn't touch with a 10-foot stethoscope. Episodes that dealt with drug addiction, mental illness, and even venereal disease, topics that were absolutely taboo on family television in 1971. One episode about teenage pregnancy caused such an uproar that several CBS affiliates refused to air it. The network received thousands of angry letters, but the show's producers stood their ground, arguing that television had a responsibility to address real social issues. The episode that had everyone talking was The Last 10 Yards, featuring a football player struggling with what we'd now recognize as CTE, decades before anyone understood the real dangers of head injuries in sports. Do you remember watching these live? Drop a memory in the comments. We'd love to know what night of the week it aired in your house. And if this brings back good times, hit that like button to keep the nostalgia going. Number 7. Hawaii Five-0 on CBS. Book 'em, Dano became America's favorite catchphrase, and Detective Steve McGarrett became television's coolest cop. Set against the gorgeous backdrop of Hawaii, this show had everything: exotic locations, intense action sequences, and that absolutely killer theme song that still gets your blood pumping. But here's the behind-the-scenes drama that would make a great episode itself. Jack Lord was reportedly one of the most difficult actors in television history. He demanded top billing, refused to work with certain guest stars, and was so controlling about his character that he actually rewrote scripts without permission. His co-star, James MacArthur, Dano, later revealed that Lord barely spoke to him off camera for the entire 12-year run of the show. The tension was so thick that you could cut it with a pineapple. The most iconic moment? That opening credits sequence with the crashing wave. Pure television poetry that defined cool for an entire generation. Number 6. Sanford and Son on NBC. Red Fox brought us nighttime comedy to primetime, and America was never quite the same. Fred Sanford and his long-suffering son Lamont ran a junkyard in Los Angeles. But this wasn't just another family sitcom. This was groundbreaking television that brought black family dynamics to mainstream audiences like never before. Fred's fake heart attacks. "I'm coming, Elizabeth!" His constant scheming and his brutal honesty about everything from race relations to family dynamics made for television that was both hilarious and surprisingly honest about American life. Here's the shocking truth. NBC executives were terrified to put this show on the air. The original British version, Steptoe and Son, was already controversial, but adding racial dynamics to American television in 1972, as the show premiered in January, had network brass sweating bullets. They were convinced advertisers would flee and Southern affiliates would refuse to carry it. Instead, it became an instant hit and proved that American audiences were ready for more diverse, honest comedy. The most unforgettable moment was Fred's elaborate fake heart attacks, clutching his chest and looking skyward. "This is the big one. You hear that, Elizabeth? I'm coming to join you, honey." Number 5. The ABC Movie of the Week. This wasn't a traditional series, but it was appointment television every Tuesday night. ABC took a huge gamble by dedicating prime time to made-for-TV movies, and it paid off spectacularly. These were original films created specifically for television, and they covered everything from psychological thrillers to disaster movies to family dramas. What made the Movie of the Week special was its unpredictability. You never knew if you were getting a cheesy horror flick, a serious drama about social issues, or a star-studded thriller. It was like a weekly surprise party for television audiences. The controversial reality? Many of these movies pushed boundaries that regular series couldn't touch. That Certain Summer dealt with homosexuality. The Night Stalker was genuinely terrifying, and Brian's song made grown men cry openly. ABC was essentially using the movie format to sneak controversial content past network censors and conservative advertisers. Some of these films were so edgy that they sparked congressional hearings about television content. So, which of these do you think has aged the best? Or worst? Let's get the debate going in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe and tap the bell so you don't miss the next countdown. Hey, there's a lot more where this came from. Number 4. Gunsmoke on CBS. Marshal Matt Dillon was still keeping the peace in Dodge City after an incredible 16 years on the air, making Gunsmoke the longest-running Western in television history. James Arness's towering presence, Dennis Weaver's memorable Chester, and the authentic feel of frontier life kept audiences coming back week after week. By 1971, Westerns were starting to feel old-fashioned, but Gunsmoke had something special. It treated its characters and situations with genuine respect. This wasn't a shoot-'em-up fantasy. It was television that took the American frontier seriously. Here's the surprising fact that might shock you. CBS actually canceled Gunsmoke in 1967 after 12 years, thinking the Western genre was dead. But when they moved the Jackie Gleason show to Saturday nights to replace it, Gleason's ratings were so terrible that the network desperately brought Gunsmoke back. The show then ran for another 8 years and became even more popular than before. It was television's greatest comeback story, proving that sometimes network executives don't know what audiences really want. Number 3. Marcus Welby MD on ABC. Dr. Marcus Welby was the television doctor every American wished they had. Wise, caring, and always available for house calls. Robert Young brought the same paternal warmth he'd shown as Jim Anderson in Father Knows Best to this medical drama, creating television's most beloved physician. With his young associate, Dr. Stephen Kiley, James Brolin looking impossibly handsome, Dr. Welby tackled not just medical cases but social issues, family problems, and the changing dynamics of American life. This was comfort television with a stethoscope. But here's the controversial truth that rocked the medical community. The American Medical Association actually tried to get the show canceled, claiming it was unrealistic and gave patients false expectations about their doctors. The show was so influential that medical schools started receiving complaints from students about why their training wasn't more like Dr. Welby's practice. The most memorable moment was Welby's gentle bedside manner and his catchphrase, "Take 2 aspirin and call me in the morning." Except he actually meant it and would probably show up at your door. Number 2. The Flip Wilson Show on NBC. Flip Wilson made Thursday nights magical with his incredible characters, brilliant impressions, and that infectious laugh that could light up any room. Geraldine became a national sensation, and phrases like, "What you see is what you get," and "The devil made me do it," entered American vocabulary overnight. This variety show proved that audiences were hungry for diverse entertainment, and Flip's natural charisma and comedy genius made him one of television's first black superstars. His show featured incredible musical guests, hilarious sketches, and Flip's own unique brand of storytelling that felt like hanging out with your funniest friend. Here's what's shocking. NBC executives initially refused to give Flip his own show, claiming variety shows hosted by black performers wouldn't work in prime time. They were convinced that Southern audiences would boycott and advertisers would flee. Instead, the show became a massive hit across all demographics and proved that talent transcends everything else. Flip became so popular that he was earning more money than most movie stars, and his success opened doors for countless other performers. The unforgettable moment was Geraldine's sassy entrance. "What you see is what you get, honey," delivered with a hand on the hip and attitude for days. And at number 1, All in the Family on CBS. Archie Bunker changed television forever, and America was never quite the same. Norman Lear's groundbreaking sitcom took everything television had been afraid to discuss: racism, politics, sexuality, religion, and put it right there in your living room every Saturday night. Carol O'Connor's Archie wasn't just a character. He was a mirror held up to American society, reflecting our prejudices, our fears, and our potential for growth. With Meathead Mike, long-suffering Edith, and liberal daughter Gloria, the Bunker household became television's most realistic and most controversial family. The shocking truth: CBS executives were terrified to put this show on the air. The pilot was actually filmed twice, with different actors, because the network was convinced it would destroy their reputation. The show sparked national conversations about everything from the Vietnam War to women's liberation. The moment that defined television history was Archie's first appearance, settling into his chair and declaring, "Stifle yourself, Edith." And with those words, television grew up. So there you have it, the top 10 shows that ruled America's living rooms in 1971. Did your family gather around that big console television every week, arguing over which channel to watch? These weren't just television shows. They were shared experiences that brought families together and gave us something to talk about the next day. They reflected who we were as a country, challenged our assumptions, and entertained us in ways that still hold up today. If this video brought back memories, go ahead and like it. And if you've got a favorite episode or moment we didn't mention, drop it in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell, because next time we're digging into another golden year of television. And trust me, you won't want to miss it.